I had a call with a client last week, actually, high-level guy in a massive company, a global 500 company, a global 100 company. And during the session, he said, hey, I have something to confess. I feel like I was stealing from the company. And I didn't know what he meant by that. So I asked him, and it was time. He hadn't been putting in, or at least 1 week, a full 40 hours. In his situation, he had went on vacation, and during vacation, he ended up having to do some work for about 8 hours. And then when he got back from vacation, he decided one day to just take off. Didn't tell his company about it. And it really bothered his conscience. So the question is, as Christians, are we obligated to commit 40 hours a week to our companies because that's what they're paying us for? Or is it okay to work less than 40 hours a week and not even mention it to our company? Stay tuned, and I'm going to share with you my perspective, little insights from my experience that may or may not challenge you, but it will certainly be interesting. Hi, my name is Shawn Sommerkamp, and this is Motivationeer Christian Coaching. I post 2 videos a week, so please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you can be reminded when I do. Please also consider becoming a member at Motivationeer.com. Your membership really supports this channel. Thank you. If you didn't know it, there are quite a few companies that are getting on this bandwagon, if I can call it that, of letting their employees set their own hours. The one that really kind of started it off and it got a lot of publicity for it was Best Buy at their headquarters. Everyone that worked there, they were allowed to just set whatever time they wanted to come or go from work as long as they got their work done. For me, when I was working at GE, I was doing this myself without really talking to my boss about it because I was very productive and I was getting a lot done in way few hours a week, much fewer hours a week, I should say, than my other colleagues. I eventually got promoted into a management role, then a director role. So once I got to leading a team of employees, I kind of pulled them together and said, listen, I don't want you broadcasting this, but I don't care when you work. I don't care where you work from. You want to do your job sitting on the beach? Fine, do it. Just be sure that you get this work done. And I set out very clearly their performance metrics, which I think is very important for us to do as leaders. They were like aghast. Really? I'm like, yeah, you guys are responsible. You make great money. You'll hold yourselves accountable because you're all putting out very high quality work. So enjoy life, enjoy your job. And when you need to, just take whatever time you want. I don't care. You don't even have to tell me or ask me. So they started doing that. And man, our team really rose to the top. I got on a call with one of my employees, and as we were talking, it wasn't an actual teleconference, it was by phone. I heard a bong in the background. I'm like, oh, that's a cool sound effect from your computer. He's like, oh no, that's not a sound effect, that's Big Ben. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, I've been here for like 6 months. I'm like, oh, I love that you're doing what I wanted you guys to do. Here's what it ultimately comes down to. Whether the company tells us with their mouth or not, whether they write it out in our contract or not, they're not paying us for 40 hours a week. They're paying us for an outcome. When you get to certain levels in your career, and I'm not talking about people that are on an assembly line that are supposed to be cranking out work in that 40-hour period and punching a time clock. No, I'm talking about more the white-collar worker that's really responsible for increased output and greater efficiency on their own. They're creative problem solvers. We can be in the mindset of learning how to do our job better and better by removing waste. You've heard me talk a few times about this. By having this continuous improvement philosophy so that everything that we touch, we make it a little bit better. This is not so that we can work more and more and more hours. Already our output is exceeding those of our colleagues who aren't doing it as well, which is what I was able to do in every role I was in. I did this not only at GE, but I did it at Avid and HID Global. We produced way more than the others. My teams produced much more than the others. And very interestingly, I think I may have mentioned this in a video recently. I can't recall. So I'm going to say it again. By God's grace, at HID, when they did the annual employee Net Promoter Score, asking employees how they felt about their manager, the whole company averaged at about 72-73%, which is world class. The folks in APAC, Asia Pacific, my counterpart, his team rated him at about a 71 or 72, which is great. My EMEA, Europe, Middle East, Africa's counterpart, his team gave him like a 74%. My team gave me a 94%, which is unheard of. They actually asked me, if I tricked the system somehow. And I didn't tell them, I let my employees work whenever they want, But that is why it is. And my team produced just as high an output as any of the other teams, if not more. So what I ask you to do is consider, if your conscience is telling you don't do it, it doesn't mean that your conscience is right. Remember, Paul said, my conscience is clear, but that does not mean I am innocent. The reason why I'm telling you this is because we can train our conscience to believe all kinds of things. Those that blow up people in the name of their God do that with a clear conscience because they have trained their conscience. What I'm asking you to consider is, if you went to your company and said, I'm going to double my output for me and my team in a legal way, would you want me to do it? Your company would say yes. So what I'm asking you to do is consider training your conscience with a different philosophy, that you're trying to constantly improve and increase your output. And when you do it in fewer hours with less waste, reward yourself. Use that freedom to do something for you and for me, all those years, I would just ask God to help me free up my time so I could serve more local ministry needs. That could be it too. Give back to God, of course. But the key is, what I'm asking you to consider, it's not your conscience that's really speaking to you, it's how you've trained your conscience. So train your conscience now to start consider doing this in a way that you can leverage your expertise, experience, and process improvement and benefit from that yourself personally. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for 2 new videos each week. Tell me in the comments below about your career situation, and I'll make a video for you with a shout out. You can also become a member at Motivationeer.com. Your career is not just a way to make a living, it's a way to transform the world.